You know, it's is that like a kinder way of saying like you amateur or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bless your heart too.
Bless your heart is just a southern thing. If you hear
I know,
that,
but
it translate that to you damn fool. Arts and crafts seem to get lumped together into the same category. It gets said like, "Oh, I want to do arts and crafts," and for some reason in my head, it always kind of has like a childness lightness to it. You know, like we're gonna do arts and crafts today, and there's like popsicle sticks involved. But that's just not true. I mean, it is true. There are children's activities for arts and crafts, but there are fine arts, and I think you can call it fine crafts. I want to just say this really early on. By no means am I putting either of these down. I think both of them are great and have their place. I think though there are some blurred lines. Can I say that? Woo! There are some areas where there's some crossover that I think starts to take somebody that might be in the craft realm and bring them into the art realm. When I think of crafts, okay, like outside of like the kids' arts and crafts, if you're doing scrapbooking, or you like to build things like birdhouses. But what really defines to me as a craft is when you are watching something be done, or you are reading instructions and following them. Okay, and that's fine. Somebody that paints like let's say Bob Ross, like that's called a paint along, where you're like, watch what I do. We're going to mix this color into that color. We're going to use this brush. We're going to put this tree here. Even though you are painting, you are actually, in my opinion, and I hope I cause a little controversy, in my opinion, doing a craft. You're following along. And there is nothing wrong with that at all. A lot of ways, crafts are really important. I mean, it's the gateway drug to art, right? You get comfortable with the supplies. But where the crossover for me, especially when you think about those paint along DVDs, happens, the sweet spot, the tilting point, the tipping point, I don't know, you know that little that I'm talking about. Stop looking at me like that. That tipping point is when you might be watching one of those paint-alongs. You might be doing something where you're following some instructions and decide, well, I want to try something different, or I want to do it my way, or I want to put my own spin on it. That's when things start to cross over to art, because you're putting in your mark. You're having the confidence and the faith in yourself to say, this is something that I want to try. You're experimenting, you're taking a risk, taking a chance, and you're not just following a leader. Now, there are tons of great art instructors out there, art classes, and some of them are like literally paint along with me, but others teach you more technique. I think that there is a difference in mindset of a crafter, but I think it's just going to happen naturally. Over time, you are going to become more artistic, which is, again, why I don't put crafting down at all. I said it's a gateway drug. You're going to, over time, feel more confident in the materials you're using, feel more comfortable around them, and eventually, not be as all up in your head, as we were saying in a previous video about it, and willing to try something new. I guess one of the analogies that I like to use that kind of like helps me kind of categorize it is like, let's say that you like to cook a lot at home and you follow recipes. That doesn't necessarily make you a chef. I think for that chef title, I mean, you should be writing the recipes. If you are somebody that likes to cook at home, you might slowly over time realize, well, I don't have salt. I'm going to try soy sauce and see what happens. You start to slowly figure out ways to make things work, and that's how that creativity and that inspiration and that confidence and that drive and that risk-taking factor comes in, that you want to try your own thing. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. A lot of you guys that follow me on Instagram, I see it all the time. I mean, you're doing, calligraphy stuff, and that's great. You're doing scrapbooking stuff, and that's great. You're trying it and you're doing it, and maybe you've been doing it a while. But I challenge you, this is the challenge, I challenge you to break out of your comfort zone and try doing something that you've never done before. But using the supplies perhaps that you're most comfortable with. That's a good way to kind of break into that new arena of artistic confidence. Like, again, I'm not trying to put crafters down, and I think that a lot of crafters that are hardcore crafters are artists, and they don't get credit for it. Like, let's talk about like scrapbooking, for example, okay? Yeah, they might be using pre-made things, but there is design involved. Pictures, images, words, colors, and make it work. I mean, there's an art to that. And just because it's considered a craft to be a scrapbooker, I mean, I'm not putting that down at all. You are training your eye to think more designerly, and there are arts in that. So it's not about putting down those hardcore crafters. It's more about at what point do you flip that switch and say, I'm not going to follow step 1, 2, 3, 4. That might be backwards for the camera. Was that backwards for the camera? 1, 2. In Hebrew, it might be. I'm not going to follow those steps, as they're laid out to me. I'm going to take a leap of faith and do something on my own. You will be surprised at how often you are disappointed, but more importantly, how often you will surprise yourself at how good it feels to try something new, and when it does hit and it does work, it will inspire you to do even more. And I mean, that's what these videos are all about. I mean, getting you to have the faith in yourself to make that step and to challenge you to get out of that comfort zone. I think you're watching me because you want to learn more and you're interested in becoming more. And we can all of us, including me, definitely me, always have something to learn. As artists, we have to continually seek out more information. We have to better ourselves. And we have to know that we don't know everything, that we have to learn more and more. And that's what keeps us ahead of the game. Okay? Is that good? You like that. I like that. Okay. So I want to know, do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you hate me? There are certain videos we post where everybody's like, yay! And then other videos that I post and people are like, you're an idiot. And I'm like, I know. I know. It's okay. I mean, maybe it's an opinion, so I want to know your opinion. Where do you draw the line between arts and crafts? Is there no line? Do you think that they're all together? Like I said, it's important that you find that gateway, the gateway to your art, from craft, the gateway to your confidence to do that, and the gateway to me on Instagram at Mike Not Jerry, where I am going to, what am I going to do this time? Where you can see a t-shirt design that people have really seemed to like, and I think I'm going to have to make this shirt. I think we're going to have to make this shirt. Will everybody here wear the shirt?
I can turn into a cutoff.
You can turn into a cutoff. I'll buy it for you. Okay. Everybody else got to pay for theirs, just for Olivia. Yeah, cutoff shirt and sleeves.
Uh-huh.
I do want to say that I'm not looking to sell shirts for a living. Any proceeds that we do get from selling these shirts are going to go to art education. I'm not looking to sell you something. This is why I'm not like in charge of Jerry's, because I can't make money. I'm like, I want to just give it away, have fun. I have on my list, I'm not putting crafts down, exclamation point. They are great! Exclamation point. I can't drive that home enough.